Hello everyone, welcome to Telugu One Academy. Friends, today we will be learning about the state of Mizoram in the topic of Northeast Insurgency. When you come to the Northeast Insurgency, the successful state of stopping insurgency by a peace agreement with the government of India, I can show you one state that is nothing but Mizoram. Okay, Mizoram, my friends, this is a very peculiar history. Mizoram was part of Assam till the year 1987. It was the last state carved out of Assam. So, with a long distance, the then Assam, okay, had its headquarter in Shillong, the present day the capital of Meghalaya. So, the Mizoram was the southmost or southeastmost state or part of Assam, and it was almost neglected for a long time. So, people were facing very hardships and the major strike has come in the years of 1960s, where people of Mizo have revolted. Let me tell you the exact story what happened. So, a situation similar to Nagaland developed a few years later in the autonomous Mizo district of Northeast. The secessionist demand, backed by some British officials, had grown in the year 1947, but it has failed because the local population was not ready to form a separate state. Support of youthful population. However, the unhappiness rised with Assam government relief measures during the famine of 1959 and the passage of Act in 1961, which made Assami, okay, Assami is the official language of state, led to the formation of a group which is a political and also an armed insurgent group that is called Mizo National Front, led by Laldenga as its president. Here you can see the great Laldenga ji. He was also the former chief minister of the Mizo state. So what exactly happened? My friends, there is a bamboo flowering which happens every 50 years or so, 48 years in an average, I can say. So what happens in this bamboo flowering is, bamboos don't usually flower. But when they flower, they are very sweet in smell and they attract lot of rodents and insects into the region. Okay, rodents are nothing but rats. So when these rats and insects come into the region, they attack all these bamboo flowers and feed on them. So soon after, when their population rises and when they complete having these bamboo flowers, what happens is they come back and attack all the region's food resources. They attack the crops, they attack the granaries, they attack everything, and the people in the region are left with no food. So because of this reason, the famine measures which were taken by the Assam government were very poor at that time, and eventually Laldenga ji has to come out as a Mizo National Front. Soon what happened, while participating in elections, Mizo National Front also created a military wing which received arms and ammunition and military support from East Pakistan, the present day Bangladesh and China. In March 1966, Mizo National Front has declared independence from India and proclaimed military uprising. So just by that time, this politics in center were also changing. Just Indira Gandhi has entered into her Prime Minister's office. It was not more than 5 months, and now she wants to control this Mizo insurgency. So here you can see the logo of Mizo National Front, which symbol is a tiger. Tiger is its logo. Okay, they are also called tigers or Mizo tigers. The government of India responded very violently, my friends. You can say it was the only time in the whole history of India, or I can say I wish it had never happened, and I also wish that it will never happen in the future, that Indian Air Force had bombed on its own civilians for the first time in the independent India. Okay, so Indian Air Force was sent, continuous bombing was happening because the army wing of Mizo National Front has been continuously capturing all the government offices, building, they even cut off the roads, railways, even they cut off the telephone lines to cut off the communication with the mainland and Assam region. Okay, most of the government officials went into asylum to the Assam Rifles. Most of the outposts of Assam Rifles and border security force were lifted off. Okay, all this was happening. Within few weeks, the insurgency was crushed and the government control was restored into the region. But people were very unhappy, my friends. I wish, I am very happy to say that Mizo people have forgot the brutality what they faced, and they have accepted. They are very well educated, my friends. Almost they have literacy rate of 100%, and they are very forward looking. They are very forward looking people. So that's why they thought, yes, we have to come to a table where we have to come to a conclusion that we have to live together with the government of India under the Constitution of India. So in 1973, after less extremist Mizo leaders has scaled down, they demand to the separatist state of Mizoram within the Union of India. Mizo district of Assam was separated from Assam, and Mizoram was given the status of Union territory eventually at that time. But in 1987, they got complete state. By that time, the leader of Mizo National Front, Laldenga ji, he went into asylum in London by that time. Mizo insurgency gained some renewed strength in late 1970s, but again effectively dealt with Indian armed forces. Even AFSPA was proclaimed in this region. So, but how did it concluded? But how did it concluded is by a successful accord with the central government. Okay, here you can see a Mizo Peace Accord. The Mizo Peace Accord was signed in the year 1986. Eventually in 1987, Mizoram was accorded the statehood and Laldenga became the first chief minister. Okay, so here you can see R.D. Pradhan. R.D. Pradhan was the then Home Secretary of India. It was his last day in the office. So what government did, they extended his term by night. Okay, they said no, you stay in the office till night. So come to Mizoram, we will sign a Mizo Peace Accord. It has been a historic agreement for both R.D. Pradhan ji and Laldenga ji. They both sat on the table and they signed the Mizo Peace Accord. A settlement was finally reached and accord was signed between the Union government and Mizo National Front. By this time, our Rajiv Gandhi ji have become the Prime Minister of India. He got the full majority and he was very successful in that, according to which insurgent groups, according to Mizo Peace Accord, they agreed they will give up their arms and surrender before reunion and re-enter the constitutional political system. A year later, statehood was given, and since then, Mizo National Front was a formidable political force in the state. Even the present government which is ruling, by the time I am teaching you, that is 2022, it is the Mizo National Front government which is leading, okay, and it is headed by the chief minister. I'm not able to recall his name exactly because I'm sorry if I make a mistake in pronunciation, I feel it bad. Zorangtho or Zorangtha. Okay, he was next to Laldenga ji. He was also a former militant from Mizo National Front. He is also a great person. So apart from this, there came a conclusion by Peace Accord, Mizo Peace Accord, which was signed in 1986. Everything was happy. But there is also a small insurgent group which still exists in the Mizo state. Apart from that, the state has been the most successful state when it comes to peace process through an agreement, when compared to all other Shillong Accords and all those things. So the issue here is there is a small group called Hamar. Okay, Hamar are tribal groups in the Mizo. Most of the Hamars lost their identity and they follow all the traditions of Mizo. They have been integrated into the Mizo culture. They have been acculturized. Everything was happening. They were happy. But they were not satisfied with the Mizo Peace Accord. They think that they have not given any special representation and they expected an autonomous district council. Autonomous district council in the region. Okay. Accord of 1986 ended 2 decades of insurgency led to Mizo National Front peace deal. Some Hamar leaders formed the Hamar People Convention and began a struggle for autonomy for Autonomous District Council. The insurgency raged until 1944, but it was also gone to a sleeper stage because the government of Mizoram has provided Shinlung Hills Development Council for Hamar inhabited areas. Hamar People Council joined the political mainstream, but Mizoram police and politicians say their best weapons were never surrendered, and offshoot, the Hamar People Convention Democrats emerged almost immediately and pressed on with the old demand that they need autonomous district council for their own. Who exactly are Hamas? What are their status? Is this, my friends, self-explanatory, but I just want to say a few words. These people are not just spread over the Mizoram, they are even in Manipur, they are even in Assam. Okay, because of their spread, mostly the Hamar in that region are acculturated into the Mizo people, you see. Although Hamar identity is strong, Mizos in general consider them as part of the community, or at least as one of the tribes that make up Zonat Takal, okay, if I am wrong in this pronunciation, I am sorry, Zonat Takal, a loose grouping of tribes which largely similarly customs, the dialects and dresses who live in the Mizoram or immediate vicinity. Many Hamas are members of Mizoram middle class. Most no longer speak the Hamar dialect and are fully integrated into the Mizo society. So, in Manipur, the tribe sometimes loosely include the Kuki group, evidence from the fact that one of the main Hamar armed groups, the HPCD, is considered the part of Kuki armed groups. Demands from Hamar insurgency, the HPCD stated demand is separate tribal autonomous district and sometimes a state called Hamar Ram or Hamar tribe. Okay, this is the main demand, but fortunately, my friend, this is not to a higher mark because people were satisfied with the ameliorative measures and different initiatives taken by the Mizoram government. I can proudly say Mizoram has no other issue, but internally. But externally, Mizoram is facing a border dispute. Recently, if you have seen the news, in the year 2021, in the month of August or so, there has been a dispute between Assam and Mizoram, where Mizo people and Assam people attacked themselves against themselves, and there was death of few police personnel of Assam and even Mizoram during this strike. Civilians attacked the police personnel of Assam who were trying to encroach into the fields of Mizo people at the border area with Assam. So, here we come to that point, we will be discussing about the border dispute. So, this is how Hamar people have weakness. Okay, the outfit is largely based in Manipur and the corner of southern Assam and has only thin presence in Mizoram. So, that's why our Hamar group has been failed. As I told you, we will now look into the border dispute between the Assam and Mizoram. When you look at the map here, you can see that Mizoram borders Tripura in the west. Okay, northeast it borders the Manipur, and here in the north it borders the Assam state. It borders the districts of Kachar districts, Halikandi and Karimganj. Okay, these three districts, Karimganj, Halikandi and Kachar district or Chachar districts, whatever you want to pronounce. Okay, the issue happened here. The issue, Verengeti, this is the place where in Mizoram. Okay, this belongs to a district of Kolasip. Okay, the issue happened in this Verengeti region where people of Mizoram and police force of Assam have fought against themselves and people were dying. So, let me explain you the exact issue. So, I hope you understood where exactly the border dispute here it is. We will also understand why the dispute had arisen, how colonial legacy is linked to the border dispute between these two states. Okay. So, the boundary issue between present-day Assam and Mizoram dates back to the colonial era where inner lines were demarcated according to the administrative needs of British India. So, there are two major notifications which were released by the then British government. Okay. So, the first notification came in the year 1875 that differentiated Lushai Hills from plains of Kachar. So Mizoram then was called Lushai Hills area. Please remember this point, Lushai Hills. So they demarcated some line. So Mizo people say we accept this line because the leaders of Mizo or the elders of Mizo have participated in this dialogue and agreed the notification. But when it comes to the notification which was given in the year 1933 demarcates the boundary between Lushai Hills and Manipur. Lot of the area went into the Lushai Hills. So what happened? The Mizos say that we do not agree the agreement or notification of 1933 which is between Lushai Hills and Manipur because our elders did not participate in that agreement. So Mizo believes the boundary should be demarcated on the basis of 1875 notification which is derived from the Bengal East Frontier Regulation Act 1873. Mizo leaders are against the demarcation notification 1933. According to them, Mizo society is not consulted, and I said you Assam wants 1933, and this claims that there is a clash around 120 kilometers or forest area land which is rich in reserves, which is rich in timber, which can be used for different productivity purpose in that region for industrial purpose. So that has resulted, even civilians from Assam Kachar region have attacked the civilians of Mizoram. They even burnt and tried to kill the plantation crops which were laid by the Mizo people. So even the Mizoram local civilians got enraged by this issue. They saw the police have been attacking a farmer of Mizoram in the region and destroying his crop. So all the people revolted against, and it was a very big issue. The Union Home Minister Amit Shah has to step in to solve that issue. As a result, both the states continue to have differing perception of the border, and that is the point of conflict. This is the point of the conflict. There is a 164.6 kilometer interstate boundary separates Assam and Mizoram with three districts of Kachar, Halikande, Karimganj sharing border with Kolsabai, Mamit and Aizwal districts of Mizoram. And you see, Mizoram has only one national highway connecting. It is the lifeline of Mizoram. And Assam has blocked, even after this skirmish, after this dispute, Assam has blocked that national highway. And for you, my friends, the task for the day is, what is the national highway which links the Mizoram with Assam or mainland of India? That is your homework. Further, the boundary between the Mizoram and Assam follows naturally occurring barriers like hills, waters, valleys and forests on the both sides have attributed to border skirmishes, to perceptual differences over the imaginary line. Because of that harsh terrain, because of undulating terrain, people were not able to clearly demarcate the line. In Northeast, complex boundary equations, clashes between the Assam and Mizoram residents are less frequently than they are between the other neighboring states of Assam like the Nagaland. You see, this was very rare situation, my friends. The Assam never had, it had, but not to this stage. They had the border issues with Mizoram, but it happened in a large scale at this time. So when compared to the border disputes in northeastern region, I would also like to add a few other points. Especially Assam has a lot of border issues with northeastern region because all the new states which is like Nagaland, Mizoram, Manipur, all were, Manipur you take an exception, Nagaland and Mizoram and Tripura, these were carved, slowly carved out from Assam, even Tripura was a princely state. So Assam, which shares the boundary with all other northeast states, form which states such as Nagaland, Meghalaya and Mizoram were carved out of it. See, Nagaland, Meghalaya and Mizoram were carved out of it. Has been involved in dispute with several neighborhoods. There were even skirmishes, there were fights, there were brutality, killing of personals was happening all here. Assam and Nagaland, 500 kilometer boundary, violent conflicts leading to deaths have taken place in several places since 1965. According to Manohar Parrikar Institute of Defence Studies, analysis published the paper of clashes in 2008, they said there were many deaths. Even with Arunachal Pradesh, Assam shares around 800. Even the first clashes were reported in 1992. each state accused of other for boundary transgression and illegal encroachment. These issues are now being heard by the Supreme Court, and even with Meghalaya they had the issue. Okay, so all these issues, my friend, just for your knowledge, these are self-explanatory. These are all self-explanatory issues for you. So try to pause the video and read it. So in a nutshell, my friends, I would like to end the class on Mizo insurgency in the Northeast India. Mizo insurgency has been successfully suppressed, and with the small border issues which are coming up and the direct involvement of Ministry of Home Affairs coming to the ground and asking the people to maintain cordial relationships and solve the issues as soon as possible has been a great step forward. But so that these issues do not rise, and the northeastern tribal states like Mizoram, that tomorrow we should not feel that they have been dominated by the larger states such as Assam. The border dispute should be immediately resolved by bringing the two states at the center table, and this is the only way you can maintain the peace in the region. Okay, my friends, we will come to an end here. I hope you have understood my class. So thank you for watching our video. This is Nikhil from Telugu One Academy. Thank you.